Get on, didn't groove and get no. That's Prince.
That really adds to it, yeah.
Prince there. He's back. Who'd have thought he'd be back?
What do you know that? That's an old one.
You can talk, Richard. It's okay. We're friends here.
Do you know that he was the highest earning pop star of the year last year?
Yeah.
You knew that? Okay.
Yeah, we all knew that.
Was he?
Yeah. Say something we don't know.
Well, I'll tell you something you don't know, which was that 4 years ago on Comic Relief,
Yes.
when Ali G was interviewing Beckham,
Yes.
he said, what was that item of clothing you were wearing? And Beckham said, sarong. And he said, I know it was so wrong. So all that kind of
So he
boasty,
stole
we
it from
can
me
do,
4
all that
years ago.
boasty, we can do better than Comic Relief if only Comic Relief could crack tags of that quality. In fact...
Sarong? What's so wrong with that? It was better
You're
the way I
still
did
going
it.
for it.
What's sarong? It's more like, it's the elephant. What's irrelevant?
That is
It's a Santa
the
Claus.
best joke in the world.
This is the voice of Richard Curtis, ladies and gentlemen, the sandy-haired, slightly ageing genius behind Comic Relief and many, many fine television shows over the years, including some of my very favourites, Blackadder, of course. Vicar of Dibley, which is still... Are you doing more? Is there a new Vicar of Dibley?
There might be one more somewhere in the future.
Another series, perhaps?
I doubt that.
Okay. Many fine movies, and he's now a movie director as well. We Love Actually, a film which I very much liked. Although I think I was probably alone on the critical front with that, because you got a bit of a battering from many other people, didn't you?
I read a review of it just this morning, which described it as emetic, and I don't want to look up what that word means.
Emetic. Yeah, see, someone who's writing that sort of review shouldn't be going to see films like Love Actually. It's as simple as that. You know, it's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
Curiously enough, some of my children were watching it last night.
They?
Yeah, my youngest adores it.
Oh,
and
which is their favourite bit?
I don't know. I think they do like the bit when Hugh Grant dances around.
Oh, okay.
Everyone likes that, apart from Hugh, I believe, who was...
Oi!
Was he grumpy on the day?
Oi! He wasn't really grumpy on the day. It ruined the entire shoot because we put it off to the last day.
Yeah.
And he just complained every day, and I said, we're going to have to rehearse it. And he said, oh, God, no. And he wouldn't decide between two songs.
Which was the other song? Because you do it to Jump by the Pointer Sisters, didn't they?
Well, yeah. One of them was, I think it was I Want You Back. By the Jacksons.
The Jacksons, wow,
yeah,
great song.
I think so. And we originally wanted Billie Jean, but we were told it would cost us £1 million.
See, Billie Jean, he could have done the...
That would have been it. He would have got a laugh.
I think Hugh would make quite a good Bond. Hugh Grant.
I think he's Q now, isn't he? Or M.
Oh,
he's very old.
Listen to that. Gee, man, I didn't realise that they'd fallen out.
No, he would be, because he's a fundamentally cruel and...
He's quite an evil and warped man.
Yeah.
And
I
he's
think
got away...
that's the bit they've lost.
You gave him your persona for the screen persona. He became lovable and decent. When in actual fact, he's a dark-spirited doer of evil.
No, spending time with him makes you feel sinful and pessimistic.
But now, don't say that. Now women will be queuing up because they love a rogue.
Yeah. No, and actually, to be honest, he's in Comic Relief. He's in University Challenge.
Is he doing that?
Yeah, he's very good.
And he went to... Which university did he go to? One of the posh ones?
I think he went to Oxford.
It's Oxford or Cambridge, wasn't it? Which one did you go to?
He used to dress... Oxford.
Oxford. Which one did you go to,
a long
Andy?
time before.
I went to Roehampton.
And I went to the School of Slavonic and East European Studies. So I think we see clearly where this is all falling now.
Yeah.
I think what we're saying is that we cover the whole of human education in this one room.
See what a gentleman he is. You see how he's rescued us from our own blunders.
Yeah.
Comic Relief this Friday. Now, this is... what number are we up to now?
It's the 10th.
The 10th proper big one. There've been lots of little...
proper big one. No, I mean, there were a few
reminders.
report backs and everything.
Yeah.
And our first ever broadcast was 20 years ago. But,
man.
Oi.
20?
You were on dark form, the first one, weren't you? Do you remember you made that dreadful mistake where we said that every million we got, you would wear a slightly longer nose?
Well, number one, that wasn't the first one.
Was it the second
That was
one?
the second one. And also, don't say, my idea. Wasn't my idea, it was your idea. I'm just sitting there, as always, I'm a puppet. I turn out, like, what do you want me to do? I'll try and...
Well, it looked like a puppet by the end.
Yeah,
There
by
was
the
this
end-
horrible phallic symbol wobbling around. We had to take you off. We had to reframe Griffin John.
I think Nicole Kidman saw that and stole that idea when she played Virginia Woolf. And did she thank us when she got the Oscar for the rubber nose trick?
No, but then she didn't thank David Hare for writing the script either.
Well, I sat there, I watched the movie and I thought, God, they must have earned a fortune, man. Look at the size of it. Keep phoning in. Virginia Woolf. Do you think if Virginia was around today, she'd be involved in Comic Relief, Richard?
So no.
Well, that was a brilliant question, though, wasn't it? You didn't expect that one, did you?
We get very... Kazuo Ishiguro...
His new book, apparently.
Ian McEwan, Martin Amos. We've seen so little of them on Comic Relief.
They're not there for you. But then, what would we do with them?
Because they write about the human soul, but I don't know whether or not they bother giving money to humans.
They probably phone in and donate 50
actually,
quid.
they do.
That's the key as well. That's how everyone gets involved, of course. If you can phone in and make a donation, no matter how small, obviously the larger ones are better, but a small one is better than nothing, of course.
Do you know, it absolutely is. To feed one of the street kids that we do costs 24p, I think,
That's
a
nothing.
day.
That's just so nothing, isn't it?
Yeah, so if a kid gives their pocket money today, just puts it aside, their £1, that's somebody's life kept on track.
Or if you're a bully at school, if you steal another kid's pocket money and send it in, then you
That's
are
better
immediately
than usual.
Yeah, it's not encouraged, but you know, it's a start.
Because it has to be said, Comic Relief also works on bullying in this country. That's something we're very worried
That's
about.
why I
And we
mentioned
take
that as
care-
a joke. That's why I introduced that very cleverly.
And we take care of the kids who run away from home because of the bullying, and we take care of women who's are bullied by their husbands.
Don't depress us all.
Why?
Because we don't like to be cheery in the morning.
Okay. All right.
Get-
Well,
get it for sneering.
you'll
Yeah.
cheer up a lot
Okay.
of people if you give some cash to Comic Relief.
Yeah, and that's ideally what we hope you will do. How do you keep enthusiastic, though? Because you really have been one of the engines that's driven this along. And I know this is a tough question, and I suspect you're not the sort of person who likes to sit there and say glowing things about themselves, as indeed most sane people don't. But, you know, it must be tough some years thinking, here we go again, gird your loins, phone people. Because I know you're asking for favours from people all the time, and you're trying to get people to squeeze stuff in who, you know, it must be quite, I would have thought, quite a challenging endeavour for you to embark upon again.
Do you know, a tiny bit. One, it's a lot more fun than making movies with Hugh Grant. So that's, if it's a question of choice,
Yeah.
then it comes out tops. But also, I mean, I do believe we make some quite funny stuff on Comic Relief. So that actually, if you're allowed to put Rowan in a Spider-Man costume, or, you know...
Now, he's being this year, he's being Spider Plant Man.
Spider
Right.
Plant Man, that's right. He's bitten by a genetically altered spider plant and finds himself climbing up walls. And, you know, we do. The Little Britain people have done fantastic stuff
fellas.
this year, which is really funny. We did quite an amusing Dibley with the hilarious cast of Antiques Roadshow.
Oh, that's
who came along. And
Michael Aspel?
do you know, Mike wasn't free that day.
Oh, well, that's the
But
only
we're
one we
allowed to
wanna
crack
see.
jokes about him.
Oh, that's
No,
all right then. Okay. I love the Antiques Roadshow.
no.
Was that all you're going to give me there?
What?
You just engage in a conversation?
I didn't. No, I was
just
about to
looked
agree
away
with
from
you.
me in a slightly dismissive way. Listen,
It's
Curtis,
radio. No one
listen,
knows.
Curtis,
no one knows that I haven't looked at you once.
Now I'm beginning to see Hugh
What's
Grant's side
happened
of
to
the
your
story. Huh? Now he's on about the floppy hair. Hugh, I feel your pain. We're brothers.
So there's that. There's
great
that.
bunch of
so
people.
quite fun doing lots of stuff, because on the whole we do try and do stuff which is funny, not worthy.
Right.
But, you know, I edit the documentaries a lot with the people who've made them. And to be honest, you know, when you watch those things, when you see films like the ones we've got this time, little 3-year-old girls, mum and dad dead of AIDS, taking the AIDS test, finding out they've got AIDS, and we can help them, that it's very hard to find a motivation, you know, better for getting up in the morning than doing something about that.
That does sound like one of the bleakest stories you could possibly discover, though. I mean, I know you're saying that we can help, but certainly, you know, there are aspects of it always, I think, and I don't think this is off-putting necessarily, but it's a fact where you're watching these things, and sometimes it does seem overwhelming, doesn't it?
You know, I think you can look at the world in two ways. You know, you can look at the big picture and say, eek. You know, we can't do anything about the
And just give up.
600 kids a day dying in South Africa. Or you can say, I'm just one person. I spend my whole life taking care of myself. So if I can help just one person with a £5 or a £10 or 20 quid, that's a massive amount to do.
Well, that's a fabulous way of looking at it. Are you wearing a pyjama top instead of a shirt?
Can I say something about this shirt?
I just
do you know-
noticed. It just distracted me.
No,
Because
what
there's a-
happened was I've worn a white shirt every single day for the last 11 and a half years, and I thought, I'm coming in to talk to Jonathan. I'll try and please him by wearing something a
Like
little
wearing
bit
a pyjama top. You look like-
unusual.
you look like
No,
someone
it's a
from a
shirt
public
by
schoolboy
somebody
adventure.
No, it's something called, you know, somebody gave it to me the other day. I think it's got the word duffer or something on the back.
You look like Billy Bunter's smart friend who'd help him out of a jam.
Oh, God, that's the last time.
Well, tuck that little bit
That's
in there.
just like me,
Tuck
you
that
know,
bit in. Look, Richard, you've got
that's-
one bit out and one bit
yeah,
in. That's why
that's
I look
just
like
me
pyjamas.
trying to come out a little bit, and I'm back in now for the next 20 years.
Don't do that. Don't do that. The films. Let's go back to the films. The films on Comic Relief during the evening. As someone who's kind of like loosely involved, and you know, I turn up and do next to nothing.
You're
really.
absolutely
I've got
key.
No, I've got the easiest job. I just stand up.
You're
and
doing 3 hours. I hope you realise that.
But it's very easy 3 hours because all the hard work's done by you guys, and we know this in advance. I'm linking films which have been made by very talented, dedicated people, and they're brilliant films. They're brilliant slices of documentary filmmaking
Yeah.
throughout the evening. Forgotten what I was going to say about
Well,
that,
let me
but
tell you something about
just
this
carry
year,
on
which is
making noise.
extraordinary. We've got this very handsome director called Nick Fletcher. And what's normally happened is that, you know, we've gone out with Lenny for 2 days and come back and got what we can get. What Nick's done this year is he went out with Lenny for 2 days and stayed for a month.
Wow. That's
And
wonderful.
actually filmed. So we've got there's this unbelievable film about a little boy who was kidnapped from home, driven 500 miles in a truck, left dumped on the streets of Addis Ababa, and you actually see him being taken back to his family who have no idea that he's alive still. Wow. And it is the most astonishing
Well, I saw
moment.
a film a few days ago, one of the comic relief films that they've been showing to kind of like get people thinking about comic relief again, and it showed a family in which 2 of the children had been taken from this father, and he finally was reunited with, and that was very, very powerful.
Yeah,
really, really stirring.
That is, and I would say, if anybody can think of any way this week, buying something, doing something.
Well, let's go
which
through
makes a
some
bit
of the
money.
things. What things are on sale for comic relief? There's always a different nose, and this year the nose has a kind of like big explosion of colour on top of it.
That's right. Yeah, couche. That sort of couche
It's a
hairness
couche
about
nose.
it.
So that's the nose. And where's that available?
Sainsbury's, Oxfam.
Okay, so Sainsbury's and Oxfam, they're the 2 main helpers there on the nose front.
Yeah,
Okay?
they
so
are.
if you're passing a Sainsbury's or an Oxfam, pop in and get a nose, and the kids love being given a nose. And it being
Get
Mother's
10
Day
of them and
tomorrow,
play a game.
something, giving your mum something to do with comic relief would be a lovely gift, wouldn't it?
It absolutely would. Sexy tight T-shirt from TK Maxx.
I was thinking
That would
more of a
be-
nose.
or a nose.
Okay, so there's T-shirts
haven't seen
as
my
well.
mother.
No. Well, you say
In
that.
fact, she's in hospital at the moment. Mum, if you're listening, I hope your back isn't hurting quite as much as it was yesterday.
Oh, that's a lovely message.
Well, I hope it's not hurting at all. That's
Well,
a better one, isn't it?
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, soon is the traditional thing.
Yeah, well, soon.
I hope incrementally you're slightly better now.
Okay.
It's really not a lot to say, is it? Have you got us something for Mother's Day?
Yes.
What's that?
You
You haven't got her anything. You haven't got her anything.
I've got her a nose from Sainsbury's.
Well, I hope you paid for it.
Yeah, and I tell you what, at Sainsbury's they've also got these lovely tissues that you can buy.
Comic relief tissues.
Yeah, comic relief tissues to blow your nose. You see. There's a certain logical thing there.
That is lovely. You're looking at me panicking as though we have to go to the news.
No,
We don't
I'm
have
not
to
looking
do
at you
this yet.
panically at all.
I want to talk more about, obviously, the comedy elements on the night as well. I know some of the faces involved, as always, it's the most familiar faces on TV, and some of the funniest and warmest performers you can find. Harry Hill's working on it.
Yeah.
Anton Decker doing it.
Yes.
And that's nice because Anton Decker are, of course, ITV names, and this is still seen as a BBC effort.
Yeah, except, right from the very beginning, ITV have done
They've
a
been
huge
very
amount.
good,
We got
yeah.
a girl from Corrie and Fame Academy. I remember doing a spitting image. Do you remember we once did that thing, Prime Cracker, which was Prime
Oh,
Suspect
yes,
and
yeah.
Cracker,
That was
both
very good.
ITV shows paid for by ITV.
There's been some incredible TV has come out of Comic Relief, actually, hasn't it? Incredible kind of moments.
Yeah, some good bits.
Dick and Dom are involved. They're the children's TV performers on BBC.
They're very good,
And they do Pro Celebrity Bogies.
Yes, that's right. It's got nothing to do with the actual object. What happens is you have to go into a public space and shout the word bogey extremely loud.
I've heard about this.
Yeah,
Okay.
you've probably heard it.
I probably have occasionally. McFly on the show. They're like the kind of poor man's busted. They're going to be on the show.
On the contrary, I think they're the new generation's Beatles.
Oh,
to be
contraire.
honest.
Oh, well, there you go.
It's all about you. They are, do you know, and they are completely
hold
sweet.
on,
Can
hold
I
on.
wait?
That was quite
No,
sad.
that was bad. That was bad.
An old man with grey hair singing a McFly song. What was
Do
that?
you know, in pop, you never grow old. Ask Paul.
He's the Peter Pan of pop. I think we do need to get the news, don't we?
do now,
We'll
yeah.
chat some more after this. We're with Richard Curtis. You listen to Radio 2.
I want to talk to you about McFly when we get back.
All right, then. 88 to 91 FM. This is Radio 2 from the BBC. That's the Kinks, of course. That is the Kinks. They're good, but they're no McFly. Which
No.
brings me back to Mr. Richard Curtis, who wanted to deliver a speech to the nation on the subject of that there young pop sensation.
Well, not only do I think it's a great record, but
Well, Aldi, which record are we talking about here first? Try
called
and
It's All About You.
speak clearly.
it's called It's All About You.
This
And
is
on the
the
other side,
McFly
they're doing a
single.
version of You've Got a Friend.
And this is for Comic Relief.
Exactly. If you buy it, we get money.
It's already out, though. It's been out for...
Buy 10 copies. No, actually, it comes
I see.
out the day after.
Okay, well, we'll play it now. We'll play it
comes
next.
Out on,
Yeah.
It comes out on Monday. It comes out this Monday.
All About You, You've Got a Friend.
It's got a really pretty old 60s feel to it, and I do love them because they came into my office just with the sort of three of us, where there's a big couch, sat down with their guitars and played us 3 songs and
How
says,
nice.
which one do you want?
How nice.
And then my little daughter came in and they said, what's your favourite
I saw
McFly
them-
song? And they played it for her.
I know. I saw them do this on Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, that's lovely. It's a 60s cover version.
Well, no, but it's not. That's the point. They're
I see.
bringing back the spirit
Good-
of it. And
good
they also
boys.
went off to Africa
Nice
and
boys.
actually saw what they're talking about.
Nice young fellas. Oh, that's a dig at me.
Yeah.
No, you sat on
That's
a
a
camel.
dig-
You sat on a
I
camel.
went
right?
to... Yeah, well...
Jonathan always says, don't make me go because I know I would cry too much.
I just know I wouldn't be able to deal with it very
Yeah.
well, and I kind of want to help as it is. I don't think you'll gain anything by having me weeping.
Yeah.
Apart from the cruel pleasure you get in making people cry. Obviously, which brings us back to Bridget Jones too. Let's not mention that.
Should we play the
Oh,
song?
It's out
no.
now on DVD.
Yeah, no,
It's,
and it's got some laughs.
it's got lots of laughs in it. Okay, and some of them intentional. Bridget Jones, The Edge of Reason, which no doubt did fantastically well for Working Title, the company that financed it, and for all involved. Wonderful.
I hope for some of the viewers.
No, lots of people loved it. I know lots of sad, lonely women who loved it.
Oh, stop that.
Sitting at home with their choices, hot chocolate drinks.
Look, it was Hugh and Colin's last chance to play young romantic leads. They're just desperately hanging on to the rope before they become uncles.
But you know what?
Headmasters.
It's got lots of laughs in it, and my children cannot wait to see it. My youngest is sort of desperate to see it, so I'm going to get a copy on DVD. But first of all, let's do a little bit more of an update on Red Nose Day and Comic Relief, which is this coming Friday. It's March the 11th, of course. It's going to be all night on BBC One and over on BBC Two. Various radio stations are joining in, of course. Radio 2
CBBC, Radio 1.
But here's an exciting
Nations
thing.
And regions.
Can I announce this here, Richard? Because I don't know if the people know about this yet. And this is, I think, there'll be a lot of interest from our listeners on this.
Okay.
Here you go, guys. Now listen to this, because I think you're going to want to get involved here, because this is really a special offer. No, it is. You're laughing. Okay. Radio 2 is giving you the chance to become the funniest person in the UK in aid of Comic Relief. Okay. Richard Curtis, who's sitting next to me right now, one of the greatest comedy writers the country's ever produced.
Oh, come on.
Possibly. Apart from the bloke who used to do Bob Monkhouse's gags, and we never got the credit he deserved. Richard Curtis will personally write a speech for you for any occasion, for a wedding, a birthday, an anniversary, a funeral, a leaving do, anything you've got coming up that you know you might want to make a speech or you need to make a speech, and you're thinking, I've got to get some jokes. Imagine having Richard Curtis personally tailor that speech for your needs and the requirements of the evening. Unbelievable.
Can I pull out of the funeral bit? I'm not sure that's...
No,
I'm
you
not sure
can't.
That's
You
usually...
wrote a bloody movie about funerals.
Okay, all right. No.
All you need to do, you can call 0906 or 0906 55 77 222. Okay?
Yeah.
That's 0906 5577 222. Or you can text 82125 using the keyword speech, and you have to answer the following question. Which of the following films was not written by Richard Curtis? You ready? Was it A, Four Weddings and a Funeral? B, Notting Hill?
Ooh.
Or C, Star Wars? Now, one of those three films was not written by Richard Curtis.
Yeah.
Okay? One of them wasn't written by him. No, we're not giving you any clues. But if you call 0906 5577 222, give us your answer, or text 82125 using the keyword speech and answer it, you will have entered the competition.
I will have to talk to the winner on the phone and see a picture of them, I think.
Of course you will,
yes,
at the very
all
least.
That, yeah.
Calls and texts will cost you £1 and 70p of that goes to Comic Relief. The rest, I guess, is admin. 70p of that goes to Comic Relief, and you, by just that £1 going on your phone bill, on your text bill, will go largely to Comic Relief, and you get the chance to have Richard Curtis write a speech for you. That's a fantastic offer.
Do you know, I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be the peak of my year.
That would be a good... I would have
I'll
thought.
be able to enter somebody else's life.
And if you need any jokes from me to help you on it...
That's the wrong one.
Yeah,
Sarong,
Could come in handy.
Notting Hill, we could do something like that, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Notting Your Nelly. You see what I mean? We could do something like that. What do you think?
Can I play this McFly
Write
single?
that down, Richard. Write that down. There's your opener.
Notting
this is...
your Nelly.
Well, don't dwell on it. You know the first rule of comedy, never analyse. After the event, get a laugh, move on. Here we go. This is McFly's Comic Relief single. It's out the day after Comic Relief, you said?
No, it's out on Monday.
I'm sorry, it's out on Monday, so it's out
Yeah.
this Monday. This is McFly. What a lovely slice of pop.
The thing that touches me about that is that none of them were born when we did our first Comic Relief.
Oh, don't say that. How old is that?
So
make
we've
you
got a
feel?
whole generation
Who've grown up.
that's thought that Comic Relief and Red Nose Day were inevitable.
That's right, yeah.
And I hope that people will find it inevitable.
They've been
and
girding
give
their
some money
loins, thinking
this
there'll
year.
be the call one day. You can't get away from it. But it will be. I do think it's become such a kind of part of the well, it's a biannual thing, but it's become such a part of the kind of the weft and weave of British society now, Comic Relief, that people do look forward to it. I know kids certainly look forward to it, and I think it becomes an event which is quite rightly celebrated. I mean, it's always a good night's entertainment on TV, and of course the money that's raised and the causes it serves cannot be disputed.
Can I say something a bit serious? I was talking to some Americans the other day who work on Africa, and they say that their friends, who are very intelligent, when they talk to them about the job, they say, how could you conceivably work on Africa? And there are so many problems here in the United States. Because the general American public has no idea that there are very, very, very poor people whose lives are incredibly hard in Africa. And I think that's probably the one thing that we've done at Comic Relief, is made sure that everybody knows that comparatively there's this very, very rough situation.
But also, you know, the good thing, and I know we always make a point of mentioning this on the evening, is a lot of the money raised does indeed help causes here in the United Kingdom as well. And that's kind of like, I guess... it's a vital part of Comic Relief's work.
No, it is. And the thing that I feel about the work here is that increasingly we're sort of realising that we're dealing with people who are in trouble today.
Yeah.
You know, when you're dealing with domestic violence, that's somebody in a street near you today.
And bullying.
who's
I
in
mean, I
fear.
made a joke about it earlier, perhaps a little advisedly, but, bullying is such a terrible blight on this country and in the school system at the moment, and to actually be able to help out and provide some kind of, just hope for people who find themselves in that situation is a marvellous thing.
And I don't know if you saw the Richard Breyer's film Dad, which is about a guy starting to get hit by his son.
Abuse of the elderly.
That's another one which we're really concentrating on, because there are people living in fear, and if people can bring themselves today to have a bit of fun and at the same time part with some cash, we'll pull those people out, bring them to safety, catch them when they fall.
Although I always thought that when Richard Byers was forced to work for a while with Aid Emerson and Rick Mail, I thought that was essentially abuse.
Well, Aid is now paying back for that cruelty by doing Celebrity Fame
Nicely
Academy.
rescued, Richard Curtis. Do you have a middle name, Richard?
Don't!
Yeah, I'm just curious. Do you have a middle name? What is it?
I've got two of them. One of them's Anthony. I'm not so happy talking about the
Well,
other
you
one.
have to mention it. I want to hear what it is now.
Wally.
No. Oh, dear.
Which order?
That explains a lot.
Richard Wally Anthony Curtis. I was going to be just Richard
Wally?
Richard Wally Richard Wally.
Curtis. Wally Curtis has a ring to it.
I was going to be Richard Wally Curtis, but then it turned out those initials would mean that my name was RWC, and so they decided not to go for that.
Old WC, Wally Curtis. From now on, Wally Curtis shall be his name.
Is it Wally or Wallace?
WHALLEY. It's after a village in Yorkshire, I believe.
Wally. It's
Yeah.
Wally. It's
Whaley.
worse. Wally.
But I'm not one of
Wally.
those. I'm not one of those sad people who's going to
Wally.
say my name's Richard Whaley Curtis.
Wally.
No, I'm not a ram's bottom. I'll face my fate courageously.
Well, that's quite something. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Why did you ask that anyway?
I was just looking at him and thought, he's the sort of bloke who'd have a silly middle name. There was just something about him. I can see, you see, I'm like a superhero.
That's unfair.
One of my powers is seeing a chink in another man's armour. Wally. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Talking about chink in another man's armour, the Elton John Only Gay in the Village is a very funny sketch indeed.
well,
It's
yeah.
going out quite late, and quite right too.
Well, I'm really looking for... I mean, I know they've been available on DVD. You can buy them.
Oh, yeah. Now, look, I should talk about that, because that DVD has made us £1 million
Wow.
already, which is the DVD plus some very juicy extras available, I think, at HMV. $3.99, we basically get the lot.
$3.99 is a very, very affordable price for a
Yeah,
DVD.
I know, and we get the lot. So go and buy those, 3 of those for your friends, and you'll save a life.
Would you like some comic relief tissues? Because you've seen there's something going on with your nose this morning.
Stop that. That's
You
just the way
Got a huge old hawk
That's
up
what
there.
you call. That's what you call old age and these dodgy microphones. Can we talk
Not the
about?
microphones. Oh, you've also been snuffling with your finger.
Can
like
we talk
that.
about
I've caught
Rufus
you on your arm.
Wainwright for a second?
Let's talk about Rufus. He's on the show in a minute, playing live. One of the brightest young talents on the scene at the moment, I believe.
He
you'll
wrote a
find.
song called "Dinner at 8" last year, which I think was the greatest song of the year.
Well, you love your music,
Absolutely.
don't you?
I do, and there was one point last year where I went to the only 3 concerts I'd been to in a 6-month period, all featured members of his family.
So that would be Loudon,
Loudon.
Martha.
Rufus, and Martha.
Well, actually, 2, Kate and Anna and Martha together, and then Rufus with Kate,
Kate was
Anna
his-
and Martha.
Kate was his mother, yes.
Kate's his mum,
Yes.
Anna's his aunt.
I'm getting confused.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Do you know, when my comedy runs out, i.e.,
What do you mean when?
a couple of weeks,
I think most of us agree a few years ago.
I would like to make a documentary.
Blackadder was the golden years.
Oh, no.
It's true, Richard.
Can I say on the subject of Blackadder that it's the reunion for Baldrick and Blackadder? Oh, God, I don't know meant to
Don't
say that.
say that. We
No.
don't know. What are you doing?
Stop. Anyway, watch
tune
the
in to
television on
Comic Relief.
Friday.
Lots of exciting things, and there's something involving Ricky
Oh,
Gervais that we can't talk about.
I was
either,
told
so
specifically don't talk about that.
Shall I play a record and we'll pretend we didn't hear it?
Try and rescue Wally. Nut Bush, City Limits, Ike and Tina Turner.
Yes.
Didn't get on as well as we hoped
No,
when
they
they were
didn't,
married,
no.
but
Domestic
that's all
violence.
behind them now. We would have helped them, wouldn't we?
We would have.
You'd have helped her. Richard Curtis is here. We've been talking about comic relief. Here's some of the other things that are happening. It's next Friday, all night, BBC One and BBC Two. Kids love getting behind it, of course. So
They absolutely do.
schools up and down the
What my
country-
daughter's doing is that she is plaiting her hair to her best friends, and they're spending the day with their hair tied together.
And then they'll be getting a grant from Comic Relief to get the money, their hair separated. That's a form of child abuse, isn't it?
No.
Tying the children together?
Then they're getting sponsored for that.
How lovely that'll be. Here's what else is on the show. You've got Jules Holland with Roland Rivron and Eric Clapton.
Yes.
Harry Hill, as I said, Anton Dick and Dom are going to be on it. But you've also got Peter Kay. It's going to be
very
unveiling
funny.
his thing.
Yeah. Do you know the way to Amarillo?
There's Spider Plant Man, Rowan Atkinson. Probably the first and only time you'll see him as Spider Plant Man. That's something to look forward to.
Jim Broadbent's in it.
Little Britain on there all evening. Alastair McGowan will be there with Ronnie Ancona. Ab Fab, absolutely fabulous, live on the night.
Yeah, no, we've got lots of good people just hanging around.
Yeah, Vicar of Dibley and the Antiques Roadshow, kind of combining. Well, the Antiques Roadshow hits the Vicar of Dibley's Village.
That's right, yeah.
Steve Coogan will be live on the evening as Paul and Pauline Calf. That's good news not only for Comic Relief, but also for any lap dancers working in the immediate region of the BBC on the evening. Ricky Gervais will be
He's there, yeah.
A big surprise from Ricky.
It is a big... He's made it, and he's not handed it in. He's got
top
it in his
secret
hand, and he says,
Well, he
I'm
says
sure you'll like it.
He says he's got it in his hand. He phoned me last night and said, look, surely you've got an idea of something I can do. Surely there's something we can work up. Now Bowie can't make it.
No,
Right.
can I... Well, Dave, I believe he might be
Stop
in it.
stuttering and calm down and just talk, will you?
I think it's going to be great.
All right.
Don't
It will
miss
be
that.
great. Ricky Gervais, it's a surprise on the evening.
Yeah.
There's a big surprise involving Blackadder,
Yeah.
Baldrick. There's a big surprise on the night involving that. We won't give that away.
Shut up.
Keane will be playing live as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant band. Smith and Jones will be back together. First time they've done a hit. Get him a tissue, will you? Did you hear that?
Get him out, yeah.
You've got emphysema or something.
Half of it. The last hour and a half, we've got Keira Knightley and Johnny Vaughan. Graham Norton's on. I think
And hold
it
it,
will be
Kira
fun,
and
isn't
Johnny,
it?
you want to be careful because he might just eat her.
Yeah.
If he's had a
she
guinea,
was-
he'll think it's a twiglet. He'll woof her down. Anyway, that's Comic Relief. It's all night on BBC One. Radio tour behind it all week. And as I said, once again, to remind you, if you would like Richard Curtis to write you a speech tailor-made, then just call 0906 5577 222, text 82125 using the keyword speech. It'll cost you £1, 70p goes to Comic Relief. Richard Curtis, one of the funniest men the country has ever produced, indeed the world.
Can I just say something? The motto this year is just do something. And last time we got 60 million quid, which meant everyone in the country gave a quid. Imagine if everyone in the country gave 2. That would be 120. So if you can just think of something, buy something,
Well, hold on,
do something,
you say everyone
spray
gave
your
a
hair.
pound, but I gave a lot more than £1, so I know there's a lot of people out there not.
Who didn't give any- if all the
Thank you,
people
Richard.
who didn't give a pound last time
Yeah,
then
give us
gave
just,
a
if
pound.
everyone just gives £1 and the rest of us who can afford a bit more gives a bit more, then we'll be doing a lot better.
Yeah, well...
Okay. That's a nice way of saying everyone
God
gave a
bless
Not
you.
everyone gave £1. You know that. Andrew, you gave what, 50p?
No, I gave more, actually.
No, it's all right. It's just a joke. We
I
you're
know,
kidding.
I know.
You're the very...
What's wrong
You're
with
like
it?
the poster boy
What's
for
wrong?
charity.
Oh, not again.
How lovely to see you, Richard.
Well, it's a joy. I'll see you on
See you on Friday. Thank you very much for coming. Good luck with all your preparations this week. I know it's going to get really busy and manic and mad.
Thank you very much
Okay,
indeed.
and I'll bring you a shirt along.
Let's hope it doesn't snow.
Well, it's nice when it snows.
Okay, let's hope it does. The sponsored snowball fight.
We have Rufus Wainwright. I've said that very clearly. Coming up live afterwards.
One of
We've
the
got our quiz
great
to do.
geniuses.
We do our quiz. We can do that next
And
hour.
we also have Jonathan Wilkes on the show. Man, it just doesn't get any better than
This
this.
is the Doves.
Okay, it's the Doves.